Hello and welcome back to another episode of De Huda, De Strange and De Jugsy. It is episode 7 and it is of course the finals day for the men's section of the Paris 2024 Olympic Games as Germany take on the Netherlands for gold and India go up against Spain for the bronze medal. My name's Dan Strange. Alongside me as ever we got Sarah Juggins. Sarah, welcome back.
Hello, everybody.
And alongside Sarah.
So she's returned. We have Ava Roma Maria Drummond de Good on the call. I've been practicing that. Uh, Ava, you've been jet setting, you've been all over the place, but you're back with us. Hello.
Hello, thank you for having me back, guys. I appreciate it.
Only 2 points lost. And of course, alongside Ava today, but competing for the Dream Team, our original Dream Team member, Luke Madeley, 63 caps for Ireland, made a debut for them back in 2017, very impressively with back-to-back wins against Pakistan. Welcome back, Luke.
Thanks for having me, guys. I wasn't sure if I was going to be invited back on after my initial predictions, but yeah, appreciate it and happy to be here.
And alongside Luke on the Dream Team,
We have Tobi Volter, German goalkeeper, general good guy, great commentator on the sport, 58 caps for Germany. And I believe on just your second match, you were part of the team that, sorry, Luke, beat Ireland back in the day. So welcome, Tobi. There should be some nice rivalry amongst the Dream Team members today.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm glad to be back.
there is a lot to go through, so we're going to start the warm-up. Jugsy, with your now amazing and synonymous silent whistle, please, and we'll... Of course, it was the last 48 hours were semi-finals time. Quite a lot to chat through. Ava, I'm going to come to you first of all, and let's look at the men's semi-finals first. Just talk us through to start with Netherlands-Spain.
Yeah, I actually think it was a great game, especially for the Dutch. I think for Spain to make that semi-final, that was like an amazing achievement already. And I think the Dutch played really well. I have to say, like, I didn't put them on the podium, which is my biggest mistake I think I've made during this podcast. But I think they were super focused. They played really well. So no, really good. Yeah, good for them. It was a great game to watch. I enjoyed it.
And Tobi, Germany, India, obviously you have a slight bias and you've got to be careful not to get points docked at the end of our season. A great win for Germany and a really, really fabulous semi-final.
Yeah, I think as predicted, it was a close game. Both teams scored 2 goals until it was again Niklas Wellen, who is in a terrific form again, almost like at the World Cup, thriving at the front and helping Germany to win the game.
I mean, Luke, you've obviously seen both matches. Who do you think is shaping up on the back of the matches for a podium place?
Yeah, well, obviously I didn't put Germany in my podium, and as I alluded to, I think that might have beforehand I'd said that might come back to bite me. I don't know. I think it's going to be an incredible final, to be honest, between the two teams. Germany, obviously world champions and have loads of experience in playing in these big games. But I think the Dutch have been really impressive the way they've controlled games. Like we talked beforehand how good they are going forward, but I've been really impressed with them just controlling game, keeping the ball. So I'm not gonna make a prediction. I don't think on the final. My predictions have been bad so far, but yeah, just hope for a good game.
Luke, you're not the only one that didn't put Germany in the podium or nodium, though, or in the podium spots. I didn't too, and living to regret that, as you say.
Guys, you just need to ask me for some advice in the future. Just keep with you, Luke, for a minute there on the bronze medal match, the upcoming bronze medal match. I mean, obviously, mindset going into that game is going to be crucially important for both teams. Who's going to be struggling the most to get themselves ready for that game on the back of the disappointment of not making it through to the final, do you think?
Yeah, it's a really tough one, having lost the semi-final, but then having to go again. And normally in a tournament, when you lose a semi-final, it's not like it's the end, but you kind of have the extra game. But in the Olympics, obviously getting bronze or getting nothing is such a big thing. So probably looking at the more experienced team, to be honest with you. So I would say the Indian guys are probably in a better place. But Yeah, but like I said before, Spain have been really impressive in this tournament, and I need to make an apology to their goalkeeper because I think he's been really good. And he's made some big saves when he's needed to. So again, I don't feel confident making a prediction, but we'll see.
Ava, just to come to you on the how India played in that semi-final against Germany, because you've been in positions in games with the Netherlands where you will have felt really dominant and really good and in a great place in a semi-final. The way that India started that semi-final really was something else.
No, I honestly think they really played their best game during this Olympics in that semi-final, and that's why I think they might struggle to play for that bronze. Like, of course, you want to win bronze, but I think because they were so close to winning that, and this was probably their chance to beat Germany, they might still feel that today, even though they can, of course, still win bronze. So yeah, no, I think India played a really good game. I really enjoyed watching them, especially against Germany. So I really hope they can like sort of turn it around and win bronze today for them. But yeah, it's always going to be a tight game, and both of the teams really want to win a bronze medal, of course. So it's tough. It's a tough one. It will be an exciting game, I think.
Can I just say, Dan, I'm going to share, I know our WhatsApp group is just between us, but I've got to share one comment that Ava came out with on that WhatsApp group, which is going to make millions of hockey players around the world laugh. She said she wished she had 1% of the Indian players' skill. I mean, goodness me, if you think you've only got 1% of the Indian players' skill, the rest of us might as well just hang up our sticks now.
They've got such quick hands, and I'm not really that skillful. Like, I know I can play, but I'm not even getting close to that. And I think their performance there against Germany, like they really, or Toby, maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they really rattled the Germans. And I think we saw Germany, they're so structured, they're so playing, like all their passing is always really good, their defense is on point, and it looked a bit messy for Germany, like not how they would normally play. So that's why I was like, they were so close, and it was really like outstanding the way India was playing, and it was going their way. And yeah, therefore maybe even more impressive that Germany did win it in the end.
Yeah, I have to agree. India played amazing. They were prepared extremely well. A point that makes a massive difference for Germany is that Tom Grambusch was missing. He really plays an outstanding tournament. He keeps that defense together. He is also the best player they have in their build-up. Also defense. He's also a guy like, classic German. He gets angry in the back when someone makes a mistake, which is avoidable. He gets angry, but everybody respects it, and he keeps that structure in that whole defense. And I think that game was a good example that you see how big his impact is, and you could see that he was missing.
Sorry, Toby, I was laughing at the Tom Grambusch angry line. That's about the understatement of this century, I think. Tom Grambusch is angry.
He always looks very, very angry, but he's actually a super nice guy.
I thought Mats took on his mantle as well in that game. He at times got a bit feisty. So what the men's semi-finals do to our scores is Ava picked up 2 points for the Dutch win. I got a lowly 1 point because I said that the Netherlands win, but I didn't get the score right. And of course, Jugsy and the Dream Team, well, Jugsy got 2 points, Dream Team got 4 points. So things moving around. Of course, don't forget points can be taken off. And one I know is being taken off from me because I managed to spell Ava's surname the wrong way halfway through this pod. We'll go into that later. But if we look then at the women's semi-finals and go back through them, equally some very, very interesting matches. Netherlands versus Argentina, relatively one-sided. Is it fair to say 3-0 Netherlands?
I thought so. I thought of the two matches, that was the one that I was about to say yawn fest, and that's so unfair. It wasn't quite as exciting, let's put it that way.
Ava, your thoughts on it? You played them, 2 years ago in a World Cup final? Surprised by the lack of bite that Argentina had?
Yeah, I think I did expect a bit more from them, but yeah, I think the Dutch played really well, and I think I expected maybe a little bit more fight, but in the end, I think they, especially when the Dutch lost their referral quite quickly in the game, I was like, "Ooh, this could maybe get interesting because they might need it in the end when it gets like quite tight and the emotions run high." but it wasn't like that at all. They played clinical, focused, and they did what they had to do, and that was win. So I think the Dutch played well, and Argentina, it just really wasn't their game, I think.
Luke, you've had injuries in your time. All hockey players have. Did you see the injury to Yushka Berg? What did you think of that? Stoic, how she came back on.
Yeah, looked like a pretty nasty blow. So yeah, fair play to her for getting back on the pitch. I don't know, will that keep her out moving forward, or the fact that she came back on, will that kind of give her some hope for playing in the final? Not sure.
Ava, have you got any intel on that? Do you know anything about how she is?
I don't know. I know she went to hospital to have some scans, but I don't know how she's doing now. I think she tried to get back on because she was okay, but the biggest struggle was with her breathing. She couldn't really breathe. So yeah, I'm not too sure.
Tobi, looking at Belgium versus China, a massive match in the end. Probably a really good result for hockey. An Asian team making the Olympic final. First time China made the Olympic final in 16 years. Quite a fiery game in the end, though, really.
Yeah, to be honest, I didn't see Belgium coming back in this game because China was defensively playing extremely well. Belgium had their chances. I think they had like 8 or 9 penalty corners, and then scoring a minute before the end with the rebound. It's good. It's great that it went to a shootout, because I think that's definitely something Belgium deserved out of this game. But China's game plan, they were so disciplined. You heard it in every quarter break that Allison was really focusing on run back. You lose the ball and you make sure you get your legs in your hands and you get back behind the ball. And yeah, we were talking about the statistics that the team that equalizes late in the game probably wins the shootout. We got proven wrong. To be honest, I was a bit surprised that Belgium rocked up with probably their 5 youngest players in the team to take those shootouts. Yeah, I don't know if that was the right call.
One of those shootouts, though, was the cheekiest thing that I've seen for a long time, though.
Yeah, but also extremely lucky. Like, I would not have the balls to do that, to be honest, in an Olympic semi-final.
As a goalkeeper, though, what would you think if you saw a player like because the poor Chinese goalkeeper was just smacking away trying to get the ball, wasn't she, to bring it down? And you thought, oh, that's a perfectly placed little lob there.
Yeah, it's perfectly done. And I think as a keeper, you're like, if you're an aggressive keeper, you come out almost to the stroke point and someone stops, like, yeah, what do? You go, because if they shoot, you want to close the angles. But if they then lob you, it's like you're almost in no man's land.
Yeah.
But still, it's a very, very high risk shootout to take.
Took real skill to do that. Luke, your dog's just been dispatched. What's your dog's name?
Sorry about that. His name is Kylo. I think he just saw somebody outside. But just a bit comment on the shootout there we were talking about. I thought it was interesting that Belgium scored their first 2, and obviously the momentum was with them even from the end of the game. And it's not every time you see the first 2 go in, and China missed one of their first 2, and then they come back and actually win it. So obviously the game was really tight, but then there was that kind of roller coaster of momentum shift in the shootout as well. Normally when you see a team start well in a shootout, they end up going and winning it. So yeah, I thought it was interesting that happened also in the shootout, that Belgium started well. So yeah, that was it's a pretty interesting end.
I know there's all sorts of reasons and all sorts of psychologies going on there, but I just wondered. I mean, well, it's a question for all of you, really. With Belgium getting that momentum, so they scored the late equaliser. It took them to a shootout. The shootout started really, really well. Was it almost a case of they almost took the foot off the accelerator very, very slightly because it was going so well, and they'd get and whereas China were ice cold in their determination to get through that shootout. I mean, what sort of mind games do you think, Ava? You were talking about mind games the other day. What do you think was going through the Belgium team as a collective's sort of mind?
It's so hard because I think you just try to prepare for a moment like that as best as you can. And I honestly do think you can't. I think you can do a lot, but just to get the pressure that you feel at that moment, you can't recreate that. It's honestly that moment that you experience. So it's very hard to train it in that detail, I think. But then I think Ellie made the comment about like going into shootout after you scored like the equalizer. I do think it sort of helps you more like, okay, let's go. So I think it's a bit easier to, because you're on a high, to then focus on taking the shootouts and stay in that moment. Like Luke was saying, they scored the first two. So I'm not too sure if it's then maybe because a lot of the young Belgium girls were standing there without a lot of experience in that pressure moment that it went wrong. I don't know. But I do think that Alison prepared the Chinese girls very well. And I think for them to be there and maybe already having the feeling that they've done great. So the only thing they can do is like win, even though if they don't win, they've done great. So maybe that helped them a bit in the end. But yeah, it's so tough, and it's mentally, it's hard to prepare for moments like that, and it can go either way. And yeah, now it went China's way, but it's a tough one. I find it very tough to like exactly say what happens, because it's different for everyone. And maybe what I'm saying now, it didn't affect any of the teams. So I can only say what it has done for us in the past. I think we have, after scoring equalizer, won shootouts, but I think once we have maybe, I'm trying to think, the World Cup final in 2018 or semi-final against Australia where we played shootouts. I'm not too sure if we were the ones who made the equalizer or Australia in the end. But yeah, it's a tough one, and it's very hard to train that pressured moment in a circumstance like that. You can train it, but not like that, because it's different.
As Eva said that about the World Cup semi-finals, there's me stopping myself racing to my stats to find out the answer to that question. But fabulous stuff. So what that does to our standings is Eva picked up 3 points from the women's semi-finals. I picked up 5 out of 6, which I'm really quite chuffed with, because I called the Argentina-Netherlands game 3-0, and I also said China would take a shootout, although I got the score wrong in regulation time. Jugsy did the same, although she said it would be 3-3, and the Dream Team, and this could be crucial, they said it would go to a shootout, but Belgium would win it. Tobi, you made the wrong call there. Your team picked up 2 points from the day. So overall, what it means at the moment, barring any points being taken off today, it's a 1 point difference after all this time with 2 days to go. Dahuda, 4 points taken off overall so far. The latest couple for being International Woman of Mystery is on 92 points. I'm on 87, although make that 86 because I got a dock a point for spelling Ava's name wrong. The Jugs' team also on 92. But Tobi, you've turned it round for the Dream Team. They're in the lead, I think, for the first time. He nods confidently. Look at the arrogance. 93 points. Can we take a point off for arrogance? I don't think that's in the rules. And the other
I'm sure.
It's a healthy confidence.
For gloating.
Healthy confidence.
Now you're asking for points to be taken off, Ava. Be very careful.
No, that's not allowed. There was a comment about that on air the other day about you can't ask umpires for cards, and there was a comment on our WhatsApp group in the background. And the other prediction that Jugsy made, and they've still got a chance of this, is that, of course, Belgian women, 8 years behind Belgian men. Will they get a medal as the Belgian men did in 2016? The chance is still there, but as we know, it won't be gold. Now, what we do know now also is the guaranteed points that we get from podium or nodium to a degree. There are still ones that can be added. Ava is guaranteed 30 points from podium or nodium, guaranteed at the moment. Still a chance, of course, India and Argentina could pick you up another 20. I have picked up a guaranteed 30 points with the opportunity that India and Belgium could pick me up another 20 if they manage to take a bronze medal. Jugsy has absolutely walloped it. 40 points guaranteed in the back pocket. With, of course, Argentina, a potential 50 points. Sarah Jugsy.
I'm not gloating. I'm just smiling. I'm not gloating.
I think you want to be careful. We'll be taking 10 points off you if you gloat too much. And then the Dream Team are guaranteed 20 points. Could pick up an extra 10 if Argentina women take a bronze medal. So there's a lot still going on. We now, Jugsy, blow your whistle. It's been a long old warm-up, but an interesting one. And it's then time for the predictions. So today we're going to do some official predictions for the men's finals and some unofficial predictions for the women's finals, because these won't actually count towards our scores. It is, of course, men's finals day. Up first, though, is the bronze medal match, a crucial match and a really interesting matchup between two teams that, especially in the Pro League, Well, it tends to ebb and flow, and it's always high scoring. India versus Spain. India, of course, don't forget, looking for back-to-back bronze medals. Ava, I'm going to come to you first on this one.
Ah.
I know, I could see it in your face there.
I was hoping, not me. Don't pick
What's the
me.
score going to be?
I say it's going to be 4-3 to India. I think India will win this game. Maybe I hope India will win this game. Sorry, Max, it's nothing personal. It's just that I really do hope India will win. I think it's going to be an entertaining game. I think there will be, like you said, lots of goals, hopefully. They both like to attack. They both can be a bit messy in defense. So, yeah, I hope lots of goals and that India will win in the end.
So Ava's got a 4-3 India win. Who from the dream team's picking this one? Who's going bronze medal? Who's going gold?
Toby. Toby's going both. I trust him.
No, that's not allowed, surely.
There's going to be a 1-1 split on this.
You do the bronze. I do the one with Germany involvement.
Right. Okay. I'm gonna say 3-1 to India, and a shout out to Srijesh. I think he's playing his last international game. I know Toby's a big fan. I think he's gonna have an inspired performance. Yeah, so I'd like to see him end on a high. He's obviously a legend in the game, so hoping for an India win and Srijesh to make loads of saves.
I couldn't agree more. It's perfect.
Absolutely. And when you said that, Luke, about Srijesh, literally every person on this podcast smiled. Just, Toby, sum up what his career has meant to you.
For me, like, he's the face of Indian hockey. Like, if you think about India, you see Srijesh, you see that big, massive smile. You see a guy who's always happy. He's always dancing around when there's music. He's super friendly, open. He comes to everyone. He knows pretty much everyone he plays against. And he has carried this Indian team for years. And I would be really happy for him if he can finish off his career with a medal at Olympics.
Jugsy's got Pepper predicts. Luke,
Just to say, Pepper is absolutely agreeing with this. India over.
So Jugsy's gone India. What's the score, Jugsy, on that one?
2-1.
2-1 to India. I'm going 4-2 to India, but I think Spain take the lead. But I think India back-to-back bronze medals, and I think deserved. Although I think Spain have done fabulously to get to the bronze medal game. Right, moving on to the men's final, a replay of London 2012. I'm going to come to Jugsy first.
So I really am struggling to separate these two teams, and so I looked at the FIH Hockey Data Hub. And they don't give me any guidance either, because it's absolutely level pegging for the last few years. So I'm going on gut instinct. I'm going to go 2-2 with a Germany win in the shootout.
So it's going to a shootout again for Germany to win another major title.
Yes.
Ava de Huda. We got to leave table till last. We can't.
We have to. This one it's going to be tough, and I hope it's going to be a great game. I'm sure both teams are very ready for this game, very ready to play it, and both ready to win it probably. That's why I think it's going to be very tight, but I think the Dutch will win 3-2. So this is me making up to them for saying that they wouldn't make a podium. I think they're going to win gold.
Well, oddly, Ava, I'm going to do the absolute reverse of that, because I said that the Dutch would win gold. I think Germany are going to win the gold today. I think it's going to be 3-2 the other way round. And I go so far as to say I think it's going to be Christopher Ruhr who scores the winner on this one. I don't think it's going to be Velen. I don't think it's going to be Payet. I think Ruhr's going to get the winner. Right, dream team. Luke, happy for your opinion, but Toby's going to give the score. Luke, where do you know German and Dutch hockey really well, because you've played against club teams from there a lot. You've played against both these teams. How do you view this final before Toby gives us before we give Toby the podium to tell us everything he knows?
Oh, I don't know. It's going to be really tight. what I think has been really impressive on both teams is how good they've been actually defending short corners. I don't know what the stats are like from the tournament, but it seems like only the Germans are really being efficient with their PCA. So it's going to be really tight. It's probably going to be a shootout, and then from there, Tobi can take over with the prediction.
Go on, Toby.
I predict German goals, 3-2 win. And I guess that Germany will be up by 2 goals. And then let's say 5 minutes to go, it's 3-1. Netherlands come back, take a keeper off, but then will not make it. I agree.
Predicting the whole
It's
game.
I love the depth. This is amazing.
yeah, no. I think like before the Olympics, I would have also said, yeah, Netherlands, I think it's time they're gonna win the gold. But watching the tournament and following all the games and seeing Germany play, their group is so in harmony. Like they have everything they need. They have a good PCA, a good PCD, probably both the best in the tournament. I just think it's time.
They also had, in my opinion, the toughest semi-final as well. So that they had to work and think about the game so very, very much in that game against India. But
yeah, and I also think they got challenged a lot already in their semi-final. The Netherlands, to be honest, they haven't been challenged in their semi-final. Even in their quarterfinal, they haven't been really challenged. It seemed to be like more a walk in the park. For Germany was a bit tougher. So I think they're a bit more prepared to what can come, how to handle those kind of moments.
Toby, what would it mean to German hockey to be world and Olympic champions at the same time?
I think the last time that happened, that was 2006, 2008. So it's quite some time ago. I know that it's also quite some time ago since the Dutch won the gold medal at Olympics. It would mean the world to these guys, and it also would end a lot of successful careers. I guess a few guys really think that's their last tournament, that's their last game, and they're gonna crown this with the gold medal.
Right, let's look ahead to women's finals day as well. After that very bold and very detailed prediction of Tobi Valter, what I will say is only the men's predictions count in terms of our leaderboard. The women's we're going to leave to tomorrow, where we've got another 2 Dream Team guests, very special guests on. So Argentina versus Belgium in the game neither of them wanted to be in. But Ava, you have to look at that as an incredibly open game.
Yeah, I do think it will. I think similar to the men, both teams really will go for it. I do think that Belgium will take it in the end. I don't think Argentina is good enough at the moment to really challenge them and really go for the bronze medal. But they might surprise me. I mean, you never know, it's the Olympics. But I think Belgium will win the bronze medal.
Luke, where are you looking on that one? Obviously, you've played a lot of hockey in Belgium. You'll know a lot of those players well. How prepared do you think they'll be after the heartbreak of yesterday?
Yeah, I think it's tough, obviously, losing the game yesterday, but I've actually been really impressed with the Belgian girls this tournament. They look like they've approached every game with the right attitude and the right preparation. So I think if before the tournament you'd said to them, you're going to get bronze medal, they would have kind of bit your hand off. So I'm going to go with Ava. Whatever anybody else is predicting, I'm going with. No, I think they're going to do it. Like you said, they're carrying a bit more momentum than Argentina. Argentina didn't look great in the last game. And I think it'd be much bigger for this group of Belgian girls to win a bronze than maybe it would be for the Argentinian girls. So maybe, the momentum is just with them at the moment.
Toby, in agreement there?
100%. I think the semi-final loss for Argentina was a bigger surprise for them than it maybe was for Belgium. They haven't competed in Olympics in so long. They made it to the semifinal with a very good tournament performance. And I guess they have the right people around to prepare them for that bronze medal.
Looking on to the final, a final with so much story behind it, China, Alison Annan against her old team. Ava obviously has a big connection there as well. There's winners galore in the Chinese coaching staff. There's winners galore in the Dutch team. How are you? I'm not going to ask you for a prediction now because I'm going to ask for that tomorrow. But how are you viewing that, and how will the two teams differently be feeling 24 hours out from that game?
Well, the first thing to say is I'm really glad this is the final. I was watching yesterday, I was thinking Netherlands versus Belgium. Do we want an all-European final where you've got two teams who know each other so well? Probably not. Whereas this is going to be super duper because you've got two very contrasting styles of play, but then you've got those amazing connections across the coaching staff and across the history behind the teams. I don't know. I mean, Ava, I'm imagining the Netherlands will be nervous about this, and they'll be nervous on a number of counts, but largely because of the woman standing at the top of the coaching structure for the China team, because she will also know the Netherlands players inside out as well. I think it's mega exciting, and I've got no idea how I'm going to predict it either. But yeah, it's an interesting one. But a quick question to Ava: we talk about both teams have been winning and sort of experiencing that. But the really important thing is how they've reacted to losses in the past, isn't it? And it's what they bring in terms of what they've learned when they haven't been successful.
No, that's what I wanted to say. I think, like, for the Dutch women in general, like when they lost the Pro League game against Belgium, it's almost like, it's just one game in the Pro League, and yes, we're gonna make sure it never happens again. But I think at an Olympics or at a World Cup, it hasn't happened like that often. So to be honest, a lot of the girls who play in this final now, they don't know what it's like to lose games like that. They've got no idea. So therefore, they have the experience to play those games and win those games. So I think if you stand there on a field with that feeling that you know you can do it and that you probably will, that's already, I'm not saying half the job, but it does help you playing those games. So as long as it doesn't turn into almost like arrogance and you know what you're doing, and if you do your own job and if you do what you can do, then you will win. I think if the Dutch play like that, no one's going to beat them. And I do think they know how to play like that in those games.
Of course, the other story behind it, you look at the Dutch, they will train and play in the Netherlands a lot. Most of their setup is based around being in the Netherlands, except obviously when they're traveling to Paris or touring with the Pro League. For China, it's a very different setup. They have spent most of probably the last 2 years on the road training in different parts of the world. They went home, of course, to Hangzhou for the Asian Games last year. But for the coaching team, that's still time on the road. That's still time. They've been in Perth for a long time this year and last year. The sacrifices made, and sacrifices are everywhere in international sport. I'm not saying they're not. But for this Chinese team, there are sacrifices galore, because for the players, they've had to be out of China for a long time. And of course, for a lot of the coaches, they're away from their families for a lot of the time as well. Tobi, you've obviously, in a different way, your international career would have gone. But what are the sacrifices you have to make? In fact, all three of Ava, Tobi, and Luke, that we can throw that to you.
Yeah, I think especially the time next to the hockey field you spend on your private life is the biggest sacrifice. Or even in some countries, I mean, Germany has been different to all the other European countries, where you have Belgium, Netherlands, Australia, even they all have their centralized program. In Germany, you don't have that because the country is just too big and you cannot realize it. So you have decentralized programs, which are not necessarily hockey. So you spend most of the time with your club team. You play club hockey. There, the sacrifice is probably less than in other nations, because we don't have to get up Monday morning to drive to training with the national team for 3 days. You go through your routine. That's also why a lot of guys are following their studies probably a bit more intense than others. or even working. I mean, I think it was around 2016 where we had like 3 doctors and 3 lawyers in our team. They were full-time working, and they just had an employer who said like, yeah, okay, we support what you're doing with your sports, and we also give you a job. So I think that sacrifice you then have impacted on your family is way bigger than maybe other sacrifices of other countries.
Yeah, just to kind of reiterate what Toby said, with the Irish team, we certainly don't have any professional hockey here. So um being on being being abroad and playing professional hockey over in Belgium, kind of, you don't really see the sacrifice that the guys back home have to go through. So having been home since January with injuries, you see how much it really takes. Really having to give up everything for your national sessions. Working a Monday to Friday 9 to 5 job, and then giving up the rest of your time during the week for training to try and kind of bridge that gap to the top tier nations is it's a huge sacrifice. Yeah. So all the guys that have come before me on the national team, I've got huge respect for how they've been able to balance playing international hockey at the highest level and also trying to have a job, because yeah, like I said, we don't get paid to play hockey in Ireland. So
With all the talk of sacrifice, I'm not going to ask for scores at this stage, but I am going to ask you who wins. Ava, who wins the women's final?
The Dutch women will win.
Toby?
The Dutch women.
Jogsy?
Don't know.
Luke?
I really don't know.
the Dutch women will win, but I'd like to see China put up a good fight. I'd like to see a good competitive game.
My heart says no. I think the Dutch women win it. I think it's going to be. I agree with Luke actually. I think it'll be competitive, but I think the Dutch win it. Jugsy, do you want to make a call at this stage?
No, me and Pepper are going to go into a dark corner and talk about this. We'll come back to you.
The ultimate Pepper predicts tomorrow. Well, Jugsy, blow your whistle, because that is the end of the predictions. It's time, of course, for extra time. And on extra time, where we just look back over the Olympic Games so far and what's really stood out. Luke, I'm going to come to you first, because we haven't seen you since Podium on Odeon, which of course was before the Olympics actually started. How much have you enjoyed watching everything going on, not just in the hockey, everything going on around the Olympic Games?
Yeah, to be honest, it was really tough actually to the first couple of games, watching the Irish boys going out, having missed the opportunity through injury. But as it went on, and as that kind of initial kind of disappointment kind of wore off, it was just incredible to see, like, the standard obviously, and then the Irish performances. I'm sorry, I'm going to specifically talk about the Irish team here. Yeah, and really proud to be part of the group. Like, I know we didn't end up getting to a quarterfinal, which of course would have been the goal beforehand. But we were competitive in every game. The performance was really good, but then ultimately just weren't able to score enough goals to really get results in games. So the setup looks incredible. It's great to see full, like, not just in the kind of the later stages, but in the pool games. I watched a few of the French games, and the atmosphere looked incredible there. So it looked like an incredible event. And yeah, I've enjoyed watching the hockey. I didn't think I would enjoy it as much as I did, to be honest with you.
Ava, you're watching from South Africa at the moment. What's the vibe like out in South Africa for the Olympics?
I think everyone loves sports here in general, so it's actually great because on TV you can watch whatever you like. If I would be in Holland now, I would actually struggle to watch different countries play games because they only show the Dutch. So it actually has been amazing to watch it from here. I really enjoyed my little trip to Paris and to experience it from the other side. So that was amazing to experience. So no, the South Africans love their sports. It was quite unfortunate that they didn't make it to the next round with the hockey, men's or women's. But I think they put up a good fight, and yeah, they tried. So hopefully they can build on to getting better and better, and maybe, who knows, in 4 years' time they'll be there.
Toby, you always have a bit of an alternative outlook on life, which I very much enjoy. What sort of alternative stuff have you seen around the Olympics? Anything funny caught your eye?
I was extremely impressed by the new world record set by Duplantis in the pole high jump. He just broke the world record and just said, okay, I'll go again. What I've actually seen live on TV was the Dutch gold medal in 3x3 of the men. That was also really impressive, and just before the end, great score. Yeah, and I'm still, the India GB game is, for me, was hockey-wise the highlight of the hockey tournament so far.
Right, that is the end of podcast episode number 7 of Dahuda, De Strange and De Jugsy. Follow us on Instagram at Dahuda Strange Jugsy Pod, or use hashtag Prison Hockey Predictions if you want to join in. Guys, I'll go and let you all prepare for the men's bronze medal match and the final. Has anyone got any plans later on to watch it with family or friends, or anything in particular you do?
I have training.
On that, thanks for being part of the podcast, and we'll see you all again. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
That was a brilliant outline, Toby.